Axolotl. All right, let's begin with a creature that looked evolution in the eye, the eternal child of the animal kingdom. At first glance, it looks like a smiling cartoon come to life, a mix between a salamander, a fish, and a feathered lizard, with its frilly pink gills waving like underwater fireworks. But don't let that goofy grin fool you. This creature from the ancient lakes near Mexico City is one of the strangest biological rebels on Earth. While other salamanders dutifully grow up, shedding their gills, growing lungs, and moving onto land like responsible adults, the axolotl refuses. It never completes its metamorphosis. Instead, it reaches full maturity while keeping all its youthful, aquatic traits. It can breathe, swim, and even reproduce without ever leaving the water. Imagine a teenager deciding to live forever in the family pool and somehow thriving. But staying young forever is just the beginning. The axolotl's real magic lies in its ability to heal, and not just a little. Lose a limb? It grows back perfectly, bone, muscle, skin, nerves, the works. Tear a section of its spinal cord? It rebuilds it. Damage its heart, its lungs, even parts of its brain? The axolotl hits the biological reset button and repairs it flawlessly, without a single scar. The secret? Stem cells. Axolotls carry a lifelong army of these master repair cells, ready to rush to any wound. When injury strikes, they form a structure called a blastema, a tiny biological workshop that reads the body's ancient blueprint and rebuilds what was lost, piece by piece. Scientists across the world are obsessed with this process. They believe the secret to curing human injuries, even regenerating organs or spinal tissue, might be hidden inside this smiling amphibian drifting through the waters of Lake Xochimilco. And if you think that's the end of its strangeness, not quite. Humans have found a way to force an axolotl to grow up by injecting it with thyroid hormones. It'll lose its gills, grow lungs, and crawl onto land. But here's the cruel twist. The moment it embraces adulthood, its lifespan plummets. The eternal child, once forced to grow old, dies young. Maybe the axolotl knows something we don't. That staying young forever might just be the ultimate key to survival. Ready for the next creature that rewrote the laws of evolution? Platypus. If evolution ever held a design contest after one too many drinks, the winner would absolutely be the platypus. This creature looks like someone hit shuffle on nature's playlist. A duck's bill, webbed feet, an otter's body, and a beaver's tail, all stitched together into one impossibly real animal. It lays eggs like a reptile, nurses its young like a mammal, and even packs venom. The platypus isn't just strange, it's an evolutionary prank that somehow worked. When European scientists first saw one in 1799, they were sure it was a hoax. They actually tried to peel the bill off, convinced someone had sewn a duck's beak onto a mole's body. But it was real, and far stranger than anyone imagined. That bill, for instance, isn't hard like a duck's. It's soft, rubbery, and alive with thousands of tiny receptors that can sense both touch and electricity. When the platypus dives underwater, it shuts its eyes, ears, and nostrils completely, hunting blind, guided only by electric signals given off by the twitching muscles of its prey. It's like a living metal detector, sweeping through the dark for shrimp and worms. Then there's the reproduction. The platypus belongs to an ancient group of mammals called monotremes, creatures that still lay eggs. A female will burrow into the riverbank, lay 1 to 3 leathery eggs, and curl around them to keep them warm. When the babies hatch, tiny, blind, and called puggles, which might be the cutest word in biology, they start drinking milk. But here's the twist. The mother has no nipples. She secretes milk straight through her skin, and it gathers in shallow grooves on her belly for the puggles to lap up. She literally sweats milk. And then comes the venom. The male platypus wields a hollow spur on each hind leg connected to a venom gland. It's not deadly to humans, but the pain is said to be unbearable, swelling, burning, and completely resistant to morphine. During mating season, males duel each other with these venomous ankle spurs like tiny, furry gladiators. A venomous, egg-laying, milk-sweating, electricity-sensing mammal? It sounds impossible, but that's the platypus. Even its DNA defies logic. Scientists who mapped its genome found a bizarre cocktail of traits: bird-like genes for egg-laying, mammal genes for milk, and reptile-like sequences mixed throughout. And while humans have 2 sex chromosomes, the platypus has 10, forming a complex chain during reproduction that looks more like something you'd see in plants than animals. The platypus is a living fossil, a creature caught halfway through evolution's great experiment, proof that nature doesn't always follow the rules. Sometimes, it breaks them spectacularly. Ready to meet the next rule breaker evolution couldn't quite explain? Anglerfish. Descend with me into the abyss, a world where sunlight has never touched, where pressure could crush steel, and the silence feels ancient. Down here, in the midnight zone, drifts one of evolution's darkest masterpieces, the anglerfish. This isn't just a fish. It's the embodiment of deep-sea horror, a nightmare shaped by darkness itself. Its body looks half melted, half monstrous, built for survival in a world of scarcity. And from the top of its head, like a ghostly fishing rod, extends its most famous weapon, a glowing lure. That eerie light isn't the fish's own creation. It's powered by colonies of bioluminescent bacteria living inside a fleshy bulb called the esca. The fish feeds them, shelters them, and in return, they shine for her. She can make the light flicker or sway, mimicking the soft pulse of a worm, a shrimp, or a baby squid. In a place where food is nearly impossible to find, this little glow is irresistible bait. A curious creature drifts too close. The light flickers once, and then, snap. The anglerfish's enormous mouth engulfs it in an instant. Her needle-like teeth curve inward, making escape impossible. Down here, hesitation means starvation. Her whole body is designed for this grim reality. Skin thin as jelly, bones light and flexible, and a stomach that can balloon to hold prey bigger than she is. In the deep sea, you eat when you can, because your next meal might be months away. But if you think that's unsettling, wait until you hear about her love life. In this endless darkness, finding another anglerfish is almost impossible. So evolution devised a solution that's as disturbing as it is efficient. The female is massive, a floating fortress of hunger and light. The male, however, is tiny, pitifully small. Barely an inch long, he has one mission: find a female before he dies. Guided by the faint glow of her lure and the scent of her pheromones, he searches the black void until, at last, he finds her. Then, the real horror begins. He bites onto her body and never lets go. His flesh fuses with hers. His blood vessels merge into her bloodstream. Slowly, his organs dissolve. He loses his eyes, his fins, his independence, until all that remains is a pair of gonads feeding off her blood, permanently attached to her side. One female can carry multiple of these fused males at once, a cluster of shrunken, parasitic partners whose only purpose is to fertilize her eggs when she's ready. It's called sexual parasitism, and it's one of the strangest mating systems on Earth. In the endless dark, love becomes survival. The anglerfish is not just a monster of the deep. It's proof that when life is pushed to its extremes, it evolves into something almost alien, yet perfectly adapted to the black silence below. Ready to rise from the abyss and meet the next creature that defied evolution's rules? Tardigrade. From the crushing darkness of the deep sea, let's shift our lens, not outwards, but inwards. Way down into the microscopic world, where one of the most extraordinary survivors in the universe quietly crawls through droplets of water and specks of moss. Meet the tardigrade, also known as the water bear or moss piglet. It may look like a chubby, 8-legged gummy bear under a microscope, but don't be fooled. This tiny creature is tougher than anything evolution has ever produced. Cockroaches? Fragile by comparison. Tardigrades are what scientists call extremophiles, life forms that thrive where life shouldn't exist at all. They've been found on mountaintops, in volcanoes, under glaciers, and even in space. In 2007, researchers sent a batch of tardigrades into orbit aboard a satellite, exposed them to the vacuum of space and the full blast of solar radiation for 10 days. No air, no water, no protection. When they were brought back to Earth and rehydrated, they came back to life. Some even reproduced. To this day, they are the only known animal to have survived open space. Their resilience borders on science fiction. They can withstand temperatures near absolute zero, colder than outer space itself, and survive heat above 300 degrees Fahrenheit. They shrug off pressures 6 times greater than those found in the deepest ocean trenches. Lethal radiation barely phases them. And starvation? They can go without food or water for decades. So how does a microscopic creature pull off the impossible? The secret lies in a process called cryptobiosis. When facing death, from heat, cold, drought, or vacuum, the tardigrade performs one of biology's greatest tricks. It retracts its legs, curls into a dried-up capsule called a ton, and shuts itself down almost completely, lowering its metabolism to just a fraction of a percent. Inside, its cells replace water with a special sugar and a set of proteins that solidify into a glass-like structure, preserving every molecule in perfect stasis. In this state, the tardigrade is nearly immortal. It can drift frozen for 30 years, then come back to life with a single drop of water, stretching, crawling, and carrying on as if it had merely taken a nap. This incredible adaptation has allowed them to inhabit every corner of the planet, from volcanic vents to Antarctic ice, from deep ocean trenches to your backyard moss. Yes, there are probably tardigrades living just a few feet from you right now. Scientists have discovered that part of their secret lies in unique genes and proteins, like the SUP, damage suppressor, protein, which shields DNA from radiation. When scientists inserted this gene into human cells in the lab, those cells became dramatically more resistant to X-rays. The tardigrade isn't just a survivor. It's a master of endurance, carrying biological secrets that could one day help humanity protect our own cells from radiation, aging, or even the vacuum of space. It's proof that sometimes the toughest life forms aren't the largest or the fiercest, but the ones that know how to endure, patiently waiting for the universe to give them one more chance to live. Ready to meet the next creature that tore up evolution's rulebook? Blobfish. Let's talk about the ocean's most misunderstood celebrity, the blobfish. In 2013, it was voted the world's ugliest animal, a sad, sagging face turned into a global meme for everything droopy and defeated. But here's the truth. The blobfish isn't ugly at all. It's just a victim of physics and of human misunderstanding. You see, the blobfish doesn't really look like that in its natural home. That famous picture? The one that launched 1,000 memes. It's not what the blobfish looks like alive. It's what it looks like dead, pulled from a world of crushing pressure into one where its body simply can't hold shape. Deep beneath the surface, between 2,000 and 4,000 feet below, off the coasts of Australia and Tasmania, the pressure is up to 120 times what we experience here. Down there, the blobfish looks like a completely ordinary fish. To survive, it evolved a soft, cartilaginous body with almost no muscle and flesh made mostly of gelatin, slightly less dense than water. That jelly-like composition is genius. It allows the blobfish to hover just above the seafloor with almost zero effort, conserving energy in an environment where food is rare. It doesn't chase prey, it waits. When a crab, mollusk, or bit of organic debris drifts by, the blobfish simply opens its mouth and lets the ocean deliver dinner. The tragedy begins when this deep-sea specialist is hauled to the surface by fishing trawlers. The drastic drop in pressure causes its tissues to expand, its structure to collapse, and its face to droop into that now iconic frown. The blob we see isn't a living fish, it's the distorted remains of one, crushed by a change in pressure no creature could endure. But beneath that sad face lies a surprisingly nurturing nature. Female blobfish lay thousands of delicate pink eggs in neat clusters on the seafloor. Then, rather than leaving them, She hovers protectively over her nest, guarding, cleaning, and fanning her eggs until they hatch. In the deep sea, where most creatures abandon their young, that kind of care is astonishing. So no, the blobfish isn't a joke. It's a master of adaptation, shaped by one of the harshest environments on Earth. Its so-called ugliness is really just a reflection of how little we understand the world it comes from. In the crushing darkness of the deep, the blobfish isn't grotesque, it's perfect. It floats effortlessly through its silent kingdom, a soft-bodied survivor reigning in peace beneath the waves. Maybe beauty isn't about how something looks up here, but how perfectly it fits where it belongs. Pangolin. Picture this, a creature that looks like a walking pine cone, or maybe an armored artichoke with legs. That's the pangolin, one of Earth's strangest and most misunderstood animals. Found across Asia and Africa, the pangolin is the only mammal completely covered in large, overlapping scales made of keratin, the same material as your fingernails and a rhino's horn. But these scales aren't decoration. They're armor, evolution's masterpiece. When danger strikes, the pangolin doesn't run. It simply curls into a tight, unbreakable ball. Every scale locks perfectly in place, turning its body into a living fortress. Even lions and tigers can't bite through it. And if that's not enough, the pangolin can swing its tail like a spiked mace, striking back with razor-edged scales. But its strangeness goes deeper than its shell. The pangolin has no teeth, none. Instead, it wields one of the most extraordinary tongues in the animal kingdom. This sticky weapon can stretch longer than the animal's entire body. And when it's not in use, it doesn't coil in the mouth. It retracts deep into a special sheath inside the chest, anchored near the pelvis, a biological marvel. When it hunts, the pangolin tears open ant nests and termite mounds with powerful claws. Then it flicks that tongue in and out at lightning speed, slurping up thousands of insects like a living vacuum cleaner. One pangolin can consume up to 20 million ants and termites in a single year, making it nature's quiet pest control expert. And for a creature that looks like a medieval relic, it shows remarkable tenderness. A mother pangolin carries her baby, a pup, balanced delicately on her tail. When danger nears, she curls up, sealing the pup safely inside her armored embrace. It's one of nature's most beautiful displays of protection, soft heart beneath hard armor. But this perfect defense has become its greatest curse. When confronted by humans, the pangolin's instinct to curl up makes it easy to capture, a gift to poachers. Its scales, falsely claimed to have healing powers, and its meat, considered a luxury, have pushed it toward the edge of extinction. Today, the pangolin holds the tragic title of the most trafficked mammal on Earth. For over 80 million years, this gentle creature has walked the planet, a survivor from another evolutionary age. It chose armor over aggression, stealth over strength, and yet, it may not survive us. The pangolin is living proof of evolution's creativity, and a reminder of how fragile that creativity truly is. A walking artichoke, a prehistoric survivor, and one of nature's quietest miracles, disappearing before we've even taken the time to truly know it. Glass frog. Deep in the dripping rainforests of Central and South America lives a creature that seems more like a dream than an animal, the glass frog. At first glance, it looks ordinary enough, a small, lime-green tree frog clinging to the underside of a leaf. But turn it over, and the illusion shatters. Through its translucent belly, you can see everything. Its tiny heart beating, blood flowing like red rivers through paper-thin veins, the pale shimmer of its liver, even the delicate orbs of eggs forming inside a female's body. It's as if nature itself decided to make a living window, a creature that wears its biology on the outside. Scientists still debate why the glass frog evolved such ghostly transparency, but the leading theory is camouflage, a subtle, genius form of invisibility. When resting on a leaf, light filters through its body, blurring the line between frog and foliage. Its edges dissolve. Its shape disappears. To a hungry predator's eye, it becomes nothing more than a glimmer on green, a trick called edge diffusion. But its transparency hides more than organs. It reveals devotion. After mating, the female lays her eggs on the underside of a leaf dangling above a stream. And that's when the male takes over, becoming one of nature's most dedicated fathers. For days, even weeks, he stands watch, guarding the fragile clutch from wasps, ants, and other predators. His most vital task? Hydration. If the eggs dry out, they die. So he climbs down, soaks himself in water, and returns, sitting gently over the eggs, sharing his moisture with them. In some species, males even urinate on their eggs to keep them alive. It's one of evolution's quietest, most selfless acts of care. When the tadpoles hatch, they drop from the leaf into the stream below, beginning life in the water before someday climbing back to the trees, transparent guardians of the jungle canopy. The glass frog isn't just a marvel of anatomy. It's a symbol of nature's elegance. A creature that hides not by vanishing, but by blending perfectly into its world. It reminds us that survival doesn't always come through armor or strength. Sometimes it's achieved through harmony, by becoming one with the light, the leaf, and the living rhythm of the rainforest itself. The immortal jellyfish, the master of rebirth. Death, the one great constant of life. Everything that lives must one day end. Or so we thought. Meet Turritopsis dohrnii, a jellyfish so small it could rest on your fingertip, and yet, it may hold the greatest biological secret of all time. This tiny, translucent being has found a loophole in mortality itself. It doesn't just delay death, it resets life. Let's start with the normal jellyfish life cycle. A fertilized egg becomes a free-swimming larva. The larva settles on the seafloor and transforms into a polyp, a stationary, plant-like stage. From this polyp, small medusae bud off, growing into adult jellyfish. They live, reproduce, and then die. End of story. Except, for Turritopsis dohrnii, death isn't the end, it's a choice. When this jellyfish is injured, starving, or simply growing old, it performs an evolutionary magic trick called transdifferentiation, a complete reversal of its life cycle. Its body collapses, its tentacles retract, and its cells begin to transform. The adult medusa reverts back into a polyp, the earliest stage of its life. From this single polyp, new jellyfish will bud and swim away, genetically identical to the original. It doesn't age. It regenerates. It doesn't die. It begins again. Think of a butterfly that, instead of dying, could turn itself back into a caterpillar and start over. That's what the immortal jellyfish does, not once, but over and over, theoretically forever. This incredible ability has stunned scientists. Transdifferentiation, the process of specialized cells turning into entirely new types of cells, could be the key to regenerative medicine. If humans could one day replicate even a fraction of what Turritopsis does naturally, aging and degenerative diseases might become curable. But for now, this jellyfish remains an oceanic mystery, a creature that quietly drifts through the dark waters, endlessly renewing itself, ignoring the boundaries that define life and death for every other organism. It's not invincible. Predators, disease, or environmental changes can still kill it. But left undisturbed, it has no biological end. It could, in theory, live forever. The immortal jellyfish is a living paradox, fragile, yet eternal. It teaches us that survival doesn't always mean fighting against time. Sometimes, it means learning to flow with it, to return to the beginning, and to start anew. A creature the size of your fingernail, holding the most profound secret of existence, how to live forever. Pistol shrimp, the one-punch man of the sea. In the coral reefs and seagrass beds of the world's oceans lives a tiny shrimp with a weapon that seems to defy the laws of physics. This is the pistol shrimp. At just an inch or two long, it looks unassuming, until you notice its oversized claw. One normal claw, one massive claw, cocked back like a loaded gun. And when it snaps that claw, the ocean itself trembles. Here's what's happening. The sound isn't from the claw hitting anything. The shrimp snaps it shut so fast that it creates a high-velocity jet of water. That jet moves so quickly it tears a pocket of vapor into existence, a tiny bubble called a cavitation bubble. And then it collapses. The collapse is explosive. For a split second, temperatures inside the bubble spike to over 8,000 degrees Fahrenheit, nearly as hot as the surface of the sun. A flash of light bursts out in a phenomenon called sonoluminescence. And the shockwave? It produces a sound louder than a gunshot, 220 decibels. Enough to stun or kill small fish or crabs instantly. The pistol shrimp doesn't even need teeth. The prey is already incapacitated. It simply scoops it up. It's hunting with a combination of plasma, light, and sound, a weapon so powerful it can disrupt submarine sonar, creating a crackling noise that once baffled naval engineers for decades. And it's not just a one-shot wonder. If it loses its snapping claw, the smaller claw grows into a new superweapon, while the lost limb regenerates as a normal claw. The shrimp can literally switch gun hands. The pistol shrimp is proof that size doesn't determine power. It's a walking, snapping science experiment, harnessing complex fluid dynamics in a body smaller than your thumb. It doesn't just survive. It dominates its tiny underwater world with a snap that bends the rules of physics. In the ocean, being small doesn't mean being weak. It just means you have to know how to break the laws of nature with style. Lyrebird, the greatest impersonator on Earth. We end our journey in the forests of Australia with a creature that challenges everything we think we know about sound and imitation. Meet the lyrebird. At first glance, it's unremarkable, a small, ground-dwelling bird with muted colors. But listen closely, and you'll hear a voice that defies belief. The lyrebird is the world's ultimate mimic. It can perfectly replicate almost any sound it encounters. Not just other birds, but cameras clicking, car alarms, chainsaws, the whine of power tools, even human babies crying. Its vocal organ, the syrinx, is the most complex of any songbird, allowing it to produce multiple sounds at once. It can sing its own song while flawlessly imitating another bird's call at the same time. This extraordinary talent serves one purpose: courtship. During mating displays, the male clears a small mound in the forest as his stage. He fans out tail feathers that resemble an ancient Greek harp, a lyre, and begins a performance that blends biology and artistry. He may start with a cuckoo call, slide into the roar of a logging truck, then weave in a parrot alarm. Each sound adds to his symphony. The more accurate and diverse his repertoire, the more appealing he is to a female. He's a DJ of the forest, sampling nature and human noise to create the ultimate mating mixtape. But the lyrebird's talent is more than mimicry, it's culture. Young males learn from older birds, passing songs down through generations. Different populations develop unique dialects influenced by their surroundings. A lyrebird near a construction site sounds completely different from one in an untouched forest. They are, in essence, creating a living acoustic map of their world. The lyrebird challenges our understanding of communication. When it imitates a chainsaw, it doesn't know what a chainsaw is. It simply hears an intriguing sound and integrates it into its vocabulary. It's an artist, a composer, a feathered archivist preserving the sounds of its environment. Listening to a lyrebird is surreal. It blurs the line between natural and artificial, between animal and machine. Strength and survival take a back seat here. The lyrebird shows us that sometimes the most remarkable abilities in nature are about creativity, expression, and the astonishing beauty of imitation. If you've enjoyed discovering the unbelievable abilities of these creatures, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to Strange Wise for more mind-blowing journeys into the wonders of our world.